Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you join us. We are brought to you by Alive. Well, as the transgender movement continues to spark debate around the world, particularly in many African countries, as well as certain European countries, back home here in the Bahamas Union of Teachers President, Belinda Wilson, says maybe it's time to introduce transgender education right here in the Bahamas. I will read what she had to say, but first, take a look at this video.
This is what I found in a library on Kauai, and it's really atrocious. These are just some of the few books I found. I couldn't bring them all from Kauai. This is one of them, What Makes a Baby. In this book, there is no babies anymore. There's no men, there's no woman. There's bodies with uterus and bodies with a sperm. They're removing the word man or woman. Red is for kindergartners. It's a book that's telling kids they could be on the wrong body. This is for 3 years old.
They could be in the wrong body.
In the wrong body. This is for 10 years old. 10 years old, you guys. It's perfectly normal.
Isn't it crazy?
It's not.
10 years old?
Whether it's heterosexual or homosexual,
I don't care. I don't care. This is not for a 10-year-old, you guys. Anybody has children here or Keiki? This is not okay. Okay? This is gender queer. Sorry, you guys, but this is. I'm going to show it to everybody.
She's just
oral sex.
Yeah, she
we have to be showing this kids section in the library, and this is in the schools. This is in the schools. Is this okay, you guys? I'm sorry. I'm a mom, your boys. This shouldn't be seen by little kids. So I know that the representative left, but please show them. This is what library.
Yeah,
public library.
Public library wilding out here.
I know, and in public schools too, dear. And if you speak against this, you say, "Oh, you're anti-gay." I'm not anti-gay, but don't be showing porn to my kids.
You know, that mother, and that was a video taken from, because I spent the entire week last week, and before then as well, but just piecing together the show to start this discussion, because we're actually going to take it further than this. We're going to actually talk about, and not in this show, but the move to remove the Our Father from the Lord's Prayer. But let's just deal with today. That mother had every right to be very angry. I'm not a mother. I'm not a parent. But what is the motive? Forget adults making adult decisions, in my opinion. An adult can be whomever they want to be, whichever sexual orientation they choose. When I saw the book that woman showed to whomever she was talking to, those people in that video, why is it that kindergartens, primary school students need to be exposed to that? Why? It certainly appears to be an agenda. Matter of fact, it's wiping out genders. You heard her. There is no boy, no girl. There are some pictures in the book, and I don't want to be lewd, but there are some pictures, as you all saw it, a little boy with his pants down and another little boy in front of him. You all saw the picture. And this is what is being taught in libraries, in primary school classrooms around the United States. Many nations are now pushing back and resisting this. In fact, they are fed up and in particular at the United States, saying, no, you all have gone one step too far. In fact, many states in the United States are putting their feet down. I think Georgia did it last week sometime, Georgia or North Carolina, and the state of Florida. Which one is, you said, Cassius?
Texas as well.
Texas as well. We must save these children. Before we screamed about children being over-sexualized and exposed too quickly just to traditional sex. Well, this here also is being exposed, unnecessarily so, to something that they, when they reach the age of 18 or 21, they have every right to make up their minds to do or explore whatever it is they want to do. In any event, I began this segment saying, Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson says, yes, it's time to teach that right there to our students, to introduce it to the classrooms. Why? I don't know. I know we may find out in this debate because we have varied views on this panel coming up in just a minute. But here's what Wilson had to say. I addressed, in fact, let me just preface this. She was the guest speaker at a Rotary Club meeting last week. This is where it came out from, and it went viral. I reached out to her and I said, is this accurate? And she says, yes, it is. I was asked a question at Rotary. I addressed a question that was asked by a Rotarian. I stand by my views. We should teach our children so that they can be prepared for life. They will leave home, they will travel to countries that have laws and policies on transgender, and they should be educated on the pros and cons of it. Well, maybe that's a valid point. I'm going to see what my guests have to say. And so welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Panelists, Cassius Stewart, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Natino Thompson, good evening to you.
Good
welcome
evening.
to the show. Gentlemen, you saw the video. I put that there really to kind of let people see what is being done and what the outrage is, not just in European countries that we are about to see in a minute, but even in the United States in certain pockets. So I put that there for you all to see. Then I presented what the BUT president, what her position is. Natino, I'm almost afraid to start with you. But just almost afraid. But Natino, your thoughts, and when and understand what I'm saying, and I was very clear, so I know it's very clear what I said. But let's go to Wilson's point. Is it doing our children, we're doing them a favor by exposing them to this at the primary school, junior, high school levels so that they are better prepared?
Okay, so I want to go back. Let's step back. So the video that you saw, I heard that's in Australia.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm. But it's good that somebody in Australia also speaking up. Go ahead, yes.
But here's the issue, though. Inside Australia, same-sex marriage has been legal from 2017. Just checked it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that being in a public library is well within I think the scope of the legal laws that pertain to Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me in particular, if we're going to be serious about this debate, that's not what's happening here in the Bahamas. We're not doing any of that.
No, but we could listen. Wait.
We're not doing any of that.
We're not doing that. But that is Australia, and that's great. It's Australia. In the United States and other places, there is a pushback. Let's deal with the United States, where it originated from. There's a pushback right now, Natino, from having these students being exposed to that kind of material in libraries where it's happening. It's happening right now. They are being read to and exposed to those books in libraries. And I'm not talking high school kids. I'm talking, as she said, kindergarten and also in primary schools.
Okay, so let's frame what's happening in the United States so that we could have this debate. Because the framing gets muddled and confuddled. The framing in the United States is that in Texas, they're banning drag performers from reading to kids. That's their whole aim and issue, right? They're saying that children being in contact with them is teaching them that transgender is okay, right? And that's also a political kind of ploy by Republicans to make this issue of being woke an issue, because they're trying to push. They're saying that the people on the left are pushing quote unquote an agenda. I want to say that there is no agenda. LGBT people, particularly trans people, are asking for their rights, the fullness of their rights.
It's almost like me. I want to have sex with a man, and I won't do that. I won't do that on a primary school table in grade 1, and I won't go and forget you all because I won't have sex. I won't spin around and swing from the chandeliers in front of him because that's my right. What right is that, Natino, of any LGBT queer person to want to go and be able to read to a student, to read to children? I'm talking even grown up. And those explicit pictures?
No,
what right is that?
But watch this. The books don't. In the United States, the books, they're just reading time in similar ways that you would have. In similar ways that you have a mother or father come in to read to the class. That's literally what the drag performers are doing, and these are drag performers. They're not necessarily transgender. I need to make this distinction. Drag is different from being transgender. Two different things. And so again, when we're framing this conversation, drag is separate from being transgender. Transgender is someone's gender, lived experience.
Yes.
You can take drag off and put drag on. It's a performance. All gender is a performance, really, right? When we get into the whole crux of this, gender is a performance. Man is a performance. You perform these repeated acts that affirm that this is the gender that you are.
Yes.
Right?
Cassius, Natino says, listen, hold up, Shani. Don't get ahead of yourself. These are not transgender people reading to kids or even exposing them to anything. These are people who are drag. People from the drag community, a part of the LGBT umbrella, who are going and reading to kids, etc. And this is what's going on.
Shanique, my pulse jumped to 115 beats a minute. So you know this conversation can be hot. First of all, let me deal with Belinda. Belinda is my friend, and I love Belinda. But I do not love Belinda more than I love my values and I love my children. Belinda, you are talking foolishness. And I think it's the time now you step down from head of the BUT, because if you pushing the agenda of Satan, trust me, you introduce that to any school in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and see if there'll be any classrooms, any classes. See if there'll be any classes. Me and hundreds of Bahamians who are parents will fight you and fight anybody who pushes this agenda. I let you talk, buddy. I let you talk. Okay, let me finish. This agenda is from the devil. Belinda, I thought you had more sense than that. Don't try to conform to what America is doing. You see America going to hell and you want to go to hell with her?
Cassius, here's what Belinda said. See, because I just want to be fair to Belinda. Belinda say, wait a minute, don't get too heated yet and emotional. Belinda says, we should teach our children so that they can be prepared for life.
For life for what? Listen, I teach my children every day, and I tell my children that when you go to university, you will have these people coming at you, but I want you to speak the truth to them. I don't want to introduce them to the foolishness for them to join in the crowd. Cassius. It's about teaching them truth. Cassius, and what that is not truth, and what Belinda is pushing is foolishness. Belinda, I thought you had more sense than that.
Cassius, Belinda said, see, you don't get it. Natino just said in Australia, and same-sex couples is a thing. It's no big deal. And then, so therefore,
also,
people
that was a public library.
I don't care if it's private times 10. People can go, whether they be transgender, whether they be drag, and read to these kids because Australia's laws may be different. Well, Belinda mentioned that. Belinda say when they go to certain countries, the laws and policies on transgender may be different. So our kids should be educated to be able to assimilate in those types of areas.
It's not even about assimilation. The duty of educators is to teach the entire truth. And the truth is that LGBTQ plus people have always existed. They've always existed in the Bahamas. They've existed in the world. This whole idea that the United States is pushing, the United States is not pushing anything.
But why are they?
The United States is not pushing.
I just want to ask, and I should.
There is no agenda because
foolishness. There's an agenda.
There is no agenda because this is my life. This is our lives.
If your agenda in the schools, right? Trying to teach young boys. Trying to teach young boys how to give another man a blowjob, and you want that in the schools?
There's no argument with humanity.
No, sir.
There's no
you want to teach young boys how to wear panties, and you think I could be okay with that? Our little children can't understand English and math now. Why you want to teach them how to wear panties?
Listen,
no.
Let's look at
Not in the Bahamas. Not in the Bahamas.
What I'm going to do, I can let things calm down a little bit. Let's look at the video, Justin. The video with this growing opposition to this movement. 1 second. Play. Go ahead.
Family ties shall be based on the marriage or the relationship between parents and children. To sum up, the mother is a woman, the father is a man, and leave our kids alone. Full stop, end of discussion.
We are saying no to homosexuality. Why should you say we're going to be civilized if we only allow it? Are you saying we are very primitive now because we are frowning upon homosexuality? Even animals don't do it. Why should we be forced to do it because we want to be seen to be smart, to be seen to be civilized and advanced and so on? A retraction or apology would do, but I don't know, to be honest with you, how far this matter will go. Because already you're tying it to aid. If that is how you're going to bring your aids, then I'm afraid the Western can leave us alone in our poverty and we will continue scrounging and struggling and see how we can...
Well, there you have it. I wanted to bring as many views and what's happening, because remember, I'm talking about this, what appears to be a growing now opposition to what many of those leaders, you saw a European leader there and an African leader, and there are other African nations as well, where presidents are speaking out against what they feel is a woke West American-driven agenda, and they are saying no to it. They will not have it. Of course, why we are paying close attention to it. I didn't even, when I started this investigation some weeks ago, right, Cassius? Some weeks ago, if not a month ago, this was not a thought in terms of having come to the national conversation. I wanted to kind of get into it through the Lord's Prayer. But now with the BUT president saying, you know what, y'all, let's do our kids a favor. This is important. We must now introduce this transgender education into our classrooms. I thought to bring it here now.
See, this agenda has been pushed. I don't know if you remember under
It's not an agenda.
Listen, this agenda has been
Natino
pushed.
will respond as soon as you're done.
Pushed from the Obama and Hillary. Remember when they were forcing the African nations to adopt homosexuality, or they want to cut aid?
Well, the African nations have been saying,
and so they're
Cassius,
pushing
recently,
back. Keep your aid.
They say keep your aid
and
everything else.
And then when Barack Obama was the first president, one of the first presidents went to Jamaica. You think he went to Jamaica to sing? He went to push the homosexual agenda, telling them that they must embrace homosexuality or else. And this is the agenda: embrace it or else. Or else what? We can stop aid. We can stop this. We can stop people from coming to your country. Now, listen. If you want to be homosexual, that's fine with you. You can be it all you want. If America wants to be homosexual, that's fine. But don't tell me I got to be it because you it. No.
Nobody's telling you have to.
That's what they saying, right?
They're not saying that.
That's what they saying.
You
must see can't hear.
You're lying.
You deep in it.
You're lying.
You deep in it.
But you're lying.
They are pushing an agenda down our children's throat, and I will not stand for it.
Here's the thing, right? Cassius, I don't know if you're trying to shame me, but what
I gotta shame you for, buddy?
Because you just said that I'm in it. That's not.
And you say you're homosexual?
Hold on. I am queer.
What that is? What that mean?
Read.
I don't know what it means.
Google it.
I'm telling people
Google it.
Google
Google it. Right.
Tell me what it means.
Here's what I would say.
I don't know what it means.
Here's what I would say. This is not an agenda, right? And you know, if you're gonna take the route that Cassius is taking by conflating all of these issues together and muddying the whole thing that's happening,
the whole thing. I tell you,
and lying because that's what you're doing.
Tell
right?
me why I lie.
You're lying.
Tell me why I lie.
You're lying because you're making.
Tell me why I lie. Obama and Hillary pushed it down. If you have any sense,
you
use the
lie.
same Google.
Obama
and Hillary pushed this agenda.
Wait a minute, Cassius and Natino, I want you to speak to each other, but no.
We having a dialogue. We having a dialogue.
No, don't say if you have sense.
Listen, we having a dialogue.
I don't want it to go there.
Oh, okay, sorry, I apologize for that. Obama and Hillary pushed this agenda down the African throats, right? If we don't embrace homosexuality, they went to Kenya, they went to Nigeria, they went to several African states, and the African leaders say, we will not embrace it. Homosexuality is alien to our culture. This is the argument.
That's a lie.
Let him finish.
That's a lie.
Let him respond.
That is a lie. That is a lie. And if you would if you would actually do a historical research, LGBTQ plus people have always existed. They've existed before we were an independent nation in 1973.
I talking about.
I talk about here though. I talk about here though. I'm talking about the Bahamas.
Listen.
I'm talking about the Bahamas.
I was talking about.
I'm talking about the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
LGBTQ plus people have always existed in the Bahamas. They've existed everywhere around the world. America's not pushing an agenda because there's no agenda to push. What we are asking for as LGBTQ plus people is for the fullness of our rights.
What rights?
Our rights. What you talking about?
You're a Bahamian. You get every right.
First and foremost,
rights you want.
First and foremost, if we go,
I don't want to.
No, you don't. No, I do not have the right to get married. I do not have the right to get married.
You marry a man?
I do not. And if I want to do that, I want to do that.
That ain't happening
Well, then guess what?
And you go to Canada for that, but they ain't happening here.
That is the denial. That is the denial.
You could go to
Canada. That is the denial of my humanity. That is the denial of my rights. I have the right.
We are a Christian nation, buddy.
Well, did I not let you speak?
Cassius, let him speak, please. I want Natino to speak.
So here's the thing, right? If I want to get married to a man, I should get married, right? But that's not even the biggest issue. Transgender people in the Bahamas in particular don't have access to health care.
What you mean?
They don't have
access.
access. Wait. They do not have access to health care. In terms of gender affirming care. It is still difficult.
Hold on.
Let him finish first, then you can respond. Because I don't understand. Go ahead.
But that's the truth.
You know what gender affirming care is?
Hang on, Cassius.
Let them know what gender affirming care is. It sounds pretty, but it's telling young boys that they could be girls. That's what gender affirming care is.
Oh, to pay for the surgery.
Yes.
No, that's not it.
Gender affirming care means that you could tell young boys that they could be girls and young girls they could be boys. That's what it means.
Cassius, let Natino finish.
Gender affirming care deals with access to hormonal treatment.
Same thing.
And, if necessary...
Well, hold on now, Nantino.
Same thing.
Wait, hold on.
One second.
But let me finish, though.
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Cassius, if you open your mouth one more time,
Sorry.
just one more.
I tell you my heart beating fast.
But again,
wait a minute, Nantino. Now, 2 states that I know of just last week stood up against that. Do any of you remember that? In the U.S., I'm talking about, that they will not support little boys, 8 years old, and girls getting any sort of hormonal treatment. What's up? Y'all were going to a break? Y'all, I tell you these two in here. They will not support any little boy or little girl in their states having access to treatments to change their sex. And so this is what I tell you, a number of people, yes, the United States in general, but there are several individual states that are pushing back. We are going to take a break. I don't want us to lose where this debate is. The debate truly is, should children who are kindergarten age, children who are primary school age, be exposed to this now?
They're already exposed.
We're going to take a break and come back with more Beyond the Headlines after this. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines, brought to you by Alive. This segment that we're talking about, last segment and now this one, we're talking about, is it time the Bahamas introduce transgender education in Bahamian schools? Well, BUT President Belinda Wilson says yes. Wilson was a guest speaker at a Rotary meeting last week. She was asked that question, and she said, and I'm reading it, Belinda, just so that you and I don't be vexed. So let me just read your words. And so Belinda says, I addressed a question that was asked by a Rotarian. I stand by my views. We should teach our children so that they can be prepared for life. They will leave home and they will travel to countries that have laws and policies on transgender, and they should be educated on the pros and cons of it. And so that is what she feels like. Sure, educate them, expose them, because they understand it fully. Natino Thompson, a part of tonight's Hot Topics panel, agrees. He said, why can't kids as young as kindergarten ages be exposed to another person's truth? You feel, Natino, what? Just like Belinda, just like Miss Wilson, that this is for education?
Yes. I mean, Belinda's like that is the progressive kind of thinking that we need. And I'm glad she's always been at the forefront. Again, I can't wait to have a conversation with her because legit, right? No, we need to have one because she understands. She understands where the country needs to go. This is about the future generations of Bahamians. You have to expose children to another person's kind of way or view of the world. The truth of the matter is that we have LGBTQ plus people in this country. And also denying LGBTQ plus people or children.
Transgender.
Well, it's not just transgender. We don't, in the Bahamas, we don't, you talk about transgender education, that's queer education. That should be included in comprehensive education.
I don't know where you look at for queer, but I looked up queer a minute ago when you said, oh, do you know what it means? And I looked it up. And
I know what it means, but I told you on the show what it means.
It's not flattering. Okay, but let me read.
You're reading this, but I'm
reading the traditional dictionaries.
It was once a slur, but it's been reclaimed. See,
you all reclaiming everything. You take our rainbow.
Hold on, wait. In the same way,
you take our rainbow.
In the same way that the N-word has been.
That's God rainbow.
Wait. In the same way.
That's what I mean.
In the same way that the N-word has been reclaimed by Black people. Language is not static. It's always moving, and so a word can be reclaimed. I've told you on the show that queer.
But then, if you're
queer,
tell me what it means.
I've already told you what queer means.
I don't know what it means. Tell me. I am ignorant, you know.
Well,
in this regard,
I don't have the definition with me, so you.
I have the definition.
But that's not the definition that I use for queer. That's not it. That's not it. Even if I knew you about to get there, but that ain't it. That ain't it, Shanique. And I ain't gonna let you do that.
No, I'm not saying.
I ain't gonna let you do that.
If that's not it,
No. That's because I told you that's not the definition.
I'm not saying it.
Hold on, watch this. Now I have you could go back to on a show with Shanique. You can go rewatch that. I said it there. That's the definition that I use. I don't have it in front of me, and so.
But how do you know what Cassius? If
you even know what you is and you something.
No, but I told you what it was. Queer has to deal with the fact that you reject the categorizations of cis hetero society or heteronormative Bahamians, And the fact that you want them to also acknowledge the fact that you exist, but you exist outside of the binary. So, for example, my gender is I'm non-binary or gender non-conforming. I don't fit within the man scheme fully, the box that y'all check off in the Bahamas. I don't fit within the whole woman box. I am in between. I'm ambiguous.
So
watch this. Wait. Right? Wait. Queerness has to deal with the fact that there are people who exist outside of those two boxes, and they deserve their humanity respected and acknowledged. That's all that it is.
So my question is, right? My question is, do you have a vagina or you have a penis?
I'm not gonna answer that.
That's a simple question.
I'm not gonna answer that.
It's a biological truth.
Hold up, I'm not gonna answer that.
The biological
Wait,
truth is
I'm not gonna answer that.
No, don't ask him that. Don't ask him that.
Hold on.
Don't ask him that.
I have a penis.
Hold on.
I have a
Listen to
penis.
me.
I know I have a penis because when I woke up this morning, I saw it.
Why does having a vagina or penis matter?
Because if
the
you have a penis, you're a man.
The only time that matters if we're going to bed, and unless you want to sleep with me, I'm not going to answer that question. So don't answer. Do not. Hold on. Listen to me.
This is the question. Science teaches you. Science teaches you it. I don't get what he say, right? I don't get what he say, right? He just born 20-something years ago, right?
It is disrespectful.
Science teaches us there's male and female.
It is disrespectful.
Do I need to stand up here?
It is disrespectful.
Cassius, if you open your mouth.
It is disrespectful.
Am I wrong or what?
I need you to be quiet.
Either you have a doggy or you have a grabby. One of the two.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Cassius, no. You be quiet. Go ahead, Natino.
The whole argument, right? Cis people, cisgendered, heterosexual
Where you
people,
come with all this
they're
bullshit from?
obsessed. Hold up. They are obsessed with genitals. And you have to understand that gender is not about sex.
What you thinking about?
Sex.
What is it about?
Cassius,
Gender is about the way that you see the world.
I asking him a question. Gender is whether you born male or you born female. You have to come with all this fancy thing. We know what gender is. I am a male.
Sex
I am a
is
man.
male or female.
I am a man. A man.
But you're conflating
she is
sex
a woman.
and gender.
She is a woman. She have a vagina. I have a penis.
But
male, female.
Having a vagina does not make you woman.
When the earth was created, there was male and there was female.
Having a vagina does not make you a woman.
We know the story of Adam and Eve. I need to be quiet.
Adam and Eve. The only way the earth can continue is me and Shanique, male and female,
does not
get
make
together.
you a woman.
If we leave it up to you, the earth will come to an end.
Listen to me.
A vagina.
Do you know that if we leave the earth in your hands, the earth will come to an end?
Cassius, I need you to shut up. If you open your mouth one more time, if I hear your mouth.
Having a vagina or a penis does not make you a man or woman.
What does it make you?
Gender is a performance.
You all come up with this.
No.
You all create this. We know nothing about this.
Leave him when he had a dog
Listen, I'm older than you, buddy. I'm older than you. I've been to many universities, and they ain't never tell me this. You just come up with this.
You never researched this.
You just come up with this nonsense. I know nothing but that. I know nothing but that. Don't come with this new kind of talk.
You don't read.
I read. Listen, I've read more than 5,000 books in my life.
Cassius.
How much you read?
Cassius.
And I never read that.
Watch this.
Hey,
watch this. Wait.
Watch this. Come in front of you.
Out of all the books,
I never read that.
Have you ever read bell hooks?
Who?
Have you ever read bell hooks?
I don't read them grab books though. I don't read them grab books. I don't read them books. I don't read the books where they teaching 6-year-old boys
so
how to
wait,
get
hold on, wait.
another male
Y'all
blowjob.
heard it right. He reads, but he just doesn't read about queer people.
No.
So how can you say that I'm making this up?
I don't even want that in my subconscious mind.
Hold up, you've never read.
I don't even want that. I don't want that around my children. I don't want that in behaving schools. I don't want that.
Hold up. You read the Bible though. Hold up, you read the Bible though.
55 times.
Hold up, wait, and you read that Jonathan loved David though.
Listen to me.
No. Listen.
That's what you read though.
Don't come with that nonsense.
That's what you read though.
Don't come with that nonsense.
That's what you read though.
You're queer people trying to.
You read that though. You read that there.
David's been more man than you, more man than your daddy, and more man than your granddaddy. I can stand up for King David. Even though he loved Jonathan, he was never a sissy.
He loved him more than a woman,
But
right?
he's never a sissy. You see, you all look at acceptance. Ain't nobody accepting a nonsense. But guess what? There was a country.
Let's take a break.
You read that? There was a country with LGBT.
Let's take a break.
You read that though.
Sodom and Gomorrah was LGBT.